I've been asked not only to do that, but to take a little bit of a look into the future in terms of the overall context of deal flow. I think Dean and his colleagues have done a terrific job of really giving us insight into each segment of this market. What I'm going to try to do is answer that question of what is driving the deal flow we're seeing and what can we look to as we go forward. Now, as a guy who came here having done economic development work in Atlanta and led it in Denver, it's a little tough to understand that you don't have large blocks of space. Back in Denver, our mantra was, we're not overbuilt, we're just underleased. I will agree with the contention that's been advanced in a number of these presentations that one of our challenges and opportunities is we need some new product. And you'll see why in a minute when you see the kind of deal flow we're having. Let me address the first question of what's driving it. What's driving it in part is the fact that St. Louis is playing to its strength in terms of where we compete well. You've heard a number of examples of it here. When we started our current economic development campaign in 2005, we had the benefit of looking very in-depth at where we have our most competitive industry sectors. We started with Michael Porter's work at Harvard on industry clusters, and we identified 5 sectors where we stack up considerably well. And you've seen examples of them here tonight. Plant and life sciences. Up to that point, we didn't even think of plant and life sciences as an industry sector. We have become a major player in that. Look at a $250 million expansion underway right now at Pfizer. Look at Monsanto's growth. Look at others. Secondly, IT, information technologies. We've seen massive data centers recently completed, both at Monsanto as well as, I'm forgetting the second one. We also have recently been identified by a national site consultant as one of the 2 best places for IT job growth in the nation, alongside of the Research Triangle in Research Triangle Park. Dave Nicklaus did a story on it a couple of weeks ago. The third industry sector plays to a traditional strength, and that is advanced manufacturing. Look at what GKN is doing. Look at a number of the industrial facilities that were outlined here. The fourth area is financial services. We outcompeted Dallas and other places for MasterCard. We see Citi Mortgage as an established example of our strength in financial services. And the fifth area is logistics, and you just heard we're ranked #1 in that area. So on the strength of that, we decided as we approached how do we play to those, we began to say, let's go to the customer and get insight from them of how they see our market and what in the marketing of our product can we do that will play to the heart of that strength. With Fleishman Hillard's help, we went out in 2005, and with the strength of a $21 million economic development campaign that was underwritten by a number of people in this room, we interviewed over 700 customers, about half of them national, about half of them here. The national customers were a cross-section of C-level executives in our 5 industry clusters, national real estate heads, national site selection consultants, venture capitalists, and headhunters. And what emerged in terms of those factors and those attributes of St. Louis that would drive decisions to invest or locate jobs, they came together with the combination of our unique quality of life assets that were ranked consistently above other parts of the country, coupled with the single most important issue they said to us was the ability to attract a quality workforce. And as you've heard in a number of the presentations already today, location and the diversity of our economy, the fact that we have such an attractive place for headquarters of all kinds. So what emerged out of that process in building the brand, you can see on the screen, is a number of issues that ultimately come down to a unique ability to market St. Louis as a place that you can have an outstanding business experience as well as enjoy a quality of life, the whole issue of work-life balance. Now, what we've done with this since that time, and this last slide shows some of the actual quotes that came out of the focus groups that Fleishman did as we developed the brand tagline of perfectly centered, remarkably connected, is that we've taken that message and we've driven it in terms of national media as well as national advertising. Since we launched the brand itself in the first quarter of 2006, deal flow has tripled. We've gone from about 28 deals where we would be in the short list at any one time to nearly 90 deals right now, collectively representing 14,000 potential jobs to our region and over $3.1 billion in new capital investment. So what I'd like to close it out with is to give you a feel of how that brand has been presented and a little bit of the metrics of how the deal flow is happening. But to come back to the point that's been raised several times, just 3 of these deals represent 1,000 to a high of 3,500 potential jobs. We need product to be able to ultimately compete if we wind up successfully selling St. Louis. Let's roll with the video.
In 2005, the St. Louis RCGA, along with our economic development investors and community partners, came together to drive economic development in the St. Louis region under a single cohesive brand. Today, at the halfway mark, the campaign has already generated significant success and repositioned Greater St. Louis as a strong contender for the most significant business investments. We're at a great place for more great accomplishments. Let's take a moment now to look back and appreciate our progress in motion.
There's a large misconception that St. Louis is behind the times, but I found the complete opposite.
It's home. Now that I've been here for 12 years, there's just nowhere else I'd want to be.
It's probably the best kept secret in the United States. There is that buzz, there's that feel that there's something going on here.
It's really exciting.
St. Louis native and Buck sportscaster Joe Buck. For the family experience and a good, safe place to raise a family, I can't find a better place. And I've been pretty much everywhere.
Build-A-Bear Workshop is an interactive retail entertainment store. Being a company founded in St. Louis, it's a great place to have a headquarters location because it's right here in the center of the country. And a story about a downtown renaissance in St. Louis. Millions of dollars have been put into new downtown housing.
Downtown rehab and building is still going strong in St. Louis, with another $1 billion being pumped in this year. For NPR News, I'm Matt Sepik in St. Louis.
It's the Power Lunch Roadshow. We are in Keener Plaza. It is now the world's largest seed producer, and my guest, Hugh Grant, is the chairman and CEO of Revlon Sound. Good to see you. Thanks for
Good to be here, Bill. Thanks for coming to St. Louis.
You bet. Rainwater runs Ameren.
We are fortunate in Missouri that we have electric rates that are just about the lowest in the United States.
Monsanto has facilities here, obviously. They're headquartered here. Pfizer has a facility. Some great universities that do research here.
The Regional Commerce and Growth Association enabled a plan and has been executing on that plan to build the infrastructure that is necessary to support and develop new startups and to help grow those.
Well, I'm sure you've noticed lately that St. Louis has been at the top of plenty of rankings. And in the big one this week, Forbes magazine calls us the 4th best place to live well. When pharmaceutical benefits manager Express Scripts began the search for a new home base, it had a lot to consider. While many locations bid for the company's business, one unlikely spot stood out among the contenders: the University of Missouri, St. Louis.